Now, in more local news, the persistent fuel scarcity in Nigeria is coming across as a menace that may never go away, and Nigerians are daily belabored with long queues and heavy traffic, which hamper many from being productive across throughout most parts of the day. Now, one that poses more challenge is that it comes amid the general elections, which the country is looking forward to, a transition government. Now, as the Nigerians are set to go into the second round of its election on March 11th, it is hoped that the directive by the authorities that all filling stations across the country should remain open and provide fuel for the teeming population will be adhered to strictly. Now, joining us to discuss measures to sustain petroleum products availability nationwide is the president of the Petroleum Retail Outlets Association of Nigeria, Gilles. Good to have you on Newsday. A warm welcome to the program. Now, just to get straight into it, what are the measures that have been put in place to sustain the availability of petroleum products as we count down to the next phase of the election?
Thank you so much for having me on Arise. We, as an association that is responsible and focused on patriotic values, especially in growing the economy, we have been in meetings. Today is the 7th meeting on strategic discussions on how to make sure that there's petroleum product availability across our 18,000 plus members in Nigeria. And what we have done is simple. We have called our members to send in their statistics, their data on how much PMS they have in their stations that could be able to fuel members' need. And that in itself has values that will be able to help us as the National Executive Council to take inventory of what is available and what is expected to work. And good news, members are very patriotic, nationalistic, and efficient in ensuring that petroleum product is available before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections. We have taken steps to ensure that our members open their retail outlets at 5 a.m. in the morning and try as much as they can to be there up to 8 p.m. And we have commitments from our members that will be done. The only question members have asked is they will need security. So we are applying and employing and requesting that the Inspector General of Police, the Commandant General of the Security and the Security Services, and then also the DSS, and also the military should be able to work with all our chairmen across the states. We have instructed our National Executive Council members and chairmen of each state to reach out to their security apparatus and let us know what the arrangement is so that their stations can be safe and they can be able to put in the best effort. Other than that, we congratulate the president-elect and hope that the values is bringing on board to ensure that the downstream area is properly given attention to, will be made possible. As Petron members, we pledge our support to the government, to the people of Nigeria, that we will always make sure that there's efficient and effective development and sales and distribution of petroleum product across the states in Nigeria. This is what we have done in our strategic meetings arising from that meeting in Port Harcourt today.
Well, thank you, Mr. Harry. Well, we understand, we understand that, NNPC has urged Nigerians to refrain from panic buying, and the NMPDRA, in a related development, they've also assured Nigerians that operations in loading depots have fully resumed following the restriction of movements based on the elections. But if we're going to look at the full picture, this scarcity situation has lasted for over a year now. So how does this urge from the NNPC the Nigerians should not resort to panic buying, and this assurance is coming from the NMPDRA. How are Nigerians supposed to trust what's being told to them, considering how long this has lingered?
Well, I think that the most critical thing, the most critical institution to trust will be Petron, because we are the last mile in the distribution chain. We manage all the retail outlets in the country, regardless of what association they belong, whether they're independents or majors or the depots. They will always have a retail outlet that will be benefiting from the values and the service that we present. So we are in a position to tell Nigerians exactly what is going on. We will deliver to our retail outlets every single supply that is given to us from NNPC to ensure that we have petroleum product in our retail outlets to make the stations wet. And so the commuters, housewives, medical doctors, military, everybody can be able to have petroleum product in our retail outlets. The commitment that NNPC has made and the NNDPR has confirmed can only be made possible only because Petron is working together with them. We also thank them, especially the NNDPRA. In the recent time, they have worked very closely with Petron to make sure that our retail outlets in strategic areas are wet, and also NNPC. And we are hoping that in this period, with the commitment they have made to the public, that we will have access to petroleum product with ease, ensure that we have priority loading process expedited, and so we can be able to take product to our stations and deliver to the users. So we also want to put our voice to say, please, no panic buying, and do not buy product to keep in your houses. It is dangerous because you can have a fire incident of any degree, and that is not needed. We have Petron members today in Nigeria span over 18,000 members, and it's to the interlands. So even if you go to your village, your hometown, you will have a retail outlet as a member of Petron, and we all work together under the same premise. For instance, we have instructed every station should open by 5 a.m. and every station should endeavor to stay beyond the closing hours up to 8 p.m. These stations, the chairman, the members are all agreeable to adhere to this advice. And that is what we are bringing to the table to make sure that elections on Saturday are successful and members will keep their stations open for commuters to buy fuel and go to their different areas in good time to be able to participate in the elections.
Now, one of the things we noticed, especially over the past few weeks, was a lack of uniformity in pricing alongside the scarcity. Now, what are the guarantees that your members have given you that throughout this period and beyond, we will be able to benefit from uniform prices across the nation?
Well, as it is today, the reality is that there will be no clarity about uniform pricing until a full deregulation is implemented. One, the cost of product in Port Harcourt private depots is very different from the one you buy in Lagos, and is very different from the one you're going to buy in Delta State. So the issue about pricing will be something that I believe that the incoming administration will address. And we, as very credible and patriotic association, will work with the incoming government to make sure that petroleum pricing across the country has a mechanism of showing a human face. But as it is today, every retail outlet manages to source product from different sources. It will be difficult to say that the man who bought product from Port Harcourt and is selling in Port Harcourt will sell at the same price as the man that's selling in Benue, or selling in Abuja, or selling in Kaura Namoda, or selling in Katsina. So the fact remains that petroleum product, pricing may not be uniform because there are different logistic values, different challenges facing us retail outlet owners across the country. And I do not think that Nigerians will advise us to buy product, say, at 180 or 189 or 190 and sell at 164 or 165, because that means that there is no business. If a retail outlet owner cannot make profit to pay the cost of banking charges, pay the cost of logistics, pay the cost of overhead, pay the cost of ensuring that additional product is bought, there will be no station that will be worth in the country. So I implore Nigerians to understand at this time that pricing in petroleum products should not be the issue. The issue should be availability. And that is exactly what we're going to do to make sure that our national elections, our national economic growth processes are all worked effectively and efficiently. That's how it is for now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Harry. Like you said, the focus right now should be on availability. But when the subsidy is eventually removed, what would you suggest, or what can you tell us about what the price would be around that time?
Well, first of all, pricing, I think, should be a conglomerate decision that will be made by stakeholders and the authorities. Major marketers, the depot marketers, independent marketers, Petron members, the NMDPRA, NNPC. You know that NMDPRA today houses also the equalization process. So my suggestion will be that let us support the incoming government to advance and fast track on the removal of subsidy and apply that subsidy to values that will be able to grow our economy, like health, like transportation, like roads, ensuring that there's adequate power, and then focus on different fuel levels. For instance, we can have gas to fire our cars. We can also have petrol to fire our gas. We can also have diesel to fire our cars, sorry. And at the end of the day, the regulation will address the total gamut change in what petroleum pricing will be. For instance, today in the US, you will see that you can buy product within the same range of less than one meter. You can easily see, that cost of product for 1 gallon will be $2.9 somewhere, and then it goes to $3.1 somewhere, and then it comes to $2.7 somewhere within the same area. So I think that Nigeria should not shy away from those values, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our economy moves. And what is moving the economy is PMS. Because the vehicles must have to move. Transportation, people must move from farm to market. People must move from the home to the executive offices or the hospitals or different areas. So it's very critical that Nigerians understand that the regulation is not a punishment. The regulation will be a blessing to make sure that this country moves and moves very well. So when you talk about pricing, as of today, you cannot land PMS in Nigeria for less than 350 naira a liter if we are using the official dollar price. So there's no way you're going to land PMS at that price and then you're going to sell it at 300 naira or even 349 naira. That is a loss, and so there's no guarantee for the future. So my advice to us as Nigerians, not because of my members are patriotic and everybody wants to do what is correct. We want to implore Nigerians, please, when the issue of the regulation comes, I believe that even the consumers' input and opinion will be sought. We are an oil and gas producing country, but we need to understand that there are values we must put ahead of our game before we start talking about prices that are valuable. If you have medical support or medical charges low, and you can transport yourself by rail, or gas can be able to fire, you don't need to worry so much about buying PMS unless you want your gas to be fired only by PMS. So that's what I think can solve the problem.
Right, and you did make reference to the consumers who we hope, at this point, we can't preempt what will happen, but we do hope that their input will be carried along in the process when the fuel subsidy is removed. But as an association, is there any work that you're already doing to prepare people for the fact that the prices we've been enjoying are most likely going to be a thing of the past very soon? Or are you just waiting for a directive from the government?
No, as an association, our job is to be a think tank also for the government, also for the NNPC. Today, NNPC is a private company, so actually they are competing with all of our retail outlets. But they still are the ones who hold the key to importation of PMS. So we support them, we want to work with them, but we are hoping that as they will come, when Petron can be able to import or refine product in country. So what we are doing as an association is simple. First, we are taking the numbers. We need to have our data. Our retail outlets are daily giving us information on their consumption, on their deliveries, and thereafter, we as an association will fine-tune this data and advise the government, advise the authorities, because at the end of the day, when there is deregulation, it does not mean that the government has taken off their hands from the pricing, because there's going to be the Consumer Protection Agency that's going to be set in place. There's going to be different agencies of government that will make sure that those who are going to participate in deregulation do not take undue advantage for the distribution of petroleum products. But at the end of the day, we are proposing even to take at least one refinery to partner with us. One refinery to partner, either the Port Harcourt refinery that has two, or Warri refinery that has one, to partner with us to be able to refine products in country. And we want to do this with all sense of responsibility, that we can do this for Nigeria, and Nigerians will bet better. Because most of our members started business with as little as 10,000 naira. Today, they are doing business of 300 million, 1 billion, 3 billion, 10 billion. So it means that there's something the private sector can bring to the industries, and we work. And Petron, as an association, responsible, patriotic, useful, and valuable in the downstream sector, will be able to work and ensure that Nigerians enjoy prices. Obviously, if we produce, if we refine in country, there's no way we can sell our product at even up to 15 naira a liter. So I think that everybody should advocate for the refineries to be seated to work with Petron, because we have members, we have financial muscle, we have the spread, and we have partners, financial and technical, that should be able to make our refineries to work. So that's what we are thinking of. We are not waiting for the subsidy removal to be announced before we work. So we are already on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. President of Petroleum Retail Outlets Association of Nigeria, Mr. Gilles Harry, we appreciate your time and contribution to Newsday. Thank you for joining us.